Yo guys, welcome back again to our YouTube channel. It's been a fucking long time. Yeah, my name is Malik Sterling, and if this is your first time seeing me, I know this is not your first time. Kindly make sure to subscribe. And today I have here with me the #1 DJ in Qatar, DJ Troy. So yeah, in today's video we're basically going to talk about things that we've missed about Qatar, the old Qatar that we used to miss, things that have changed so far after the World Cup, and certain things. So if this kind of content or topics interest you, kindly make sure to stick and stay. It's going to be very short and snappy. Don't forget to subscribe as well. So let's get into today's video. So guys, before the World Cup, Qatar was one of the beautiful, or one of the nicest places. It's still one of the beautiful places in the whole world, one of the safest places in the whole world, and a lot of people wanted to come to Qatar, and still people are wanting to come to Qatar. Now what has changed? A lot of people are coming to Qatar, but there are no jobs. The ones that have jobs too, you might be working today, tomorrow there is no job. The ones that are able to get a job, salary might not interest them. Back then salaries were much competitive, but nowadays it's just like, okay, if you don't want this, just leave, someone else is going to take this. So it's very sad. Yeah.
The cost of living in Qatar is high. People are finding it very hard to stay. People are finding it difficult to get jobs. And then most jobs are even for preferred nationalities only. So people have issues with house rent and other liabilities. Most people have lost their jobs, and those who are still keeping their jobs have their salaries reduced. Groceries are high, cost of living is high, rental issues are high. I miss the old Qatar. Gone are the days when everything was simple, easy, and cheap. But today, we are finding it difficult to live in Qatar. I miss the old days in Qatar.
Guys, we're just adding up to what my brother has said so far. For me, one thing that hurts me most is the ones that come to this country with their contracts are not being specified. Some of them come here, and then at the end of the day, they feel like they've wasted their times. I've met people, or people have reached out to me on Instagram, on Facebook, and they're like, my contract is not the same as when I came here. I know people in this country who are still receiving 900 riyals, which is not even allowed according to the Ministry of Labor, according to the Qatar law, like how much people are supposed to be paid monthly. People like this, they are more like, I don't want to use the word slave, because most of them are just like pressed down and they can't even voice out. Because guess what? They really need this job. Most of them sold their properties just to pay agent fees to come to Qatar here. And now if they should voice out, most of them are going to go back home. So are you still going to receive this 900, or you are going to complain so they kick you back home? Now all these things that we are talking about here, probably people living at the Pearl or people living at all those high profile places might not feel it, because now these are people who are probably receiving 75,000 Qatar riyals or 50,000 Qatar riyals. Do you think they are going to complain about the little things that we are complaining about? No, because they are living the life over there. They might not even feel, I mean, someone is paying that 900 riyals for their weekly for their fuel, or let's say for their petrols weekly. That's like 900 riyals, and that is your salary for a month. So people like this, when you complain, it doesn't really touch them, but we are the people, like we are building Qatar, you know what I mean? So it's just sad, and I miss the old Qatar. As my brother said, I really miss it. Yeah. So guys, with all these things that we've said so far, if you disagree with us, that's absolutely fine. Probably you are living the life that we are not living over here in Qatar. And now I stand to be corrected. I'm not saying that Qatar is that worse, because I mean, where we are now is probably someone's prayer point. People want to be here. So we are still grateful that we are here. We are not saying the country is bad or the country is in bad shape, but we're just talking about the current job situation or the current cost of living here in Qatar. So I think last night, a friend of mine, he's not a friend, but probably we've been in conversation or we've been in contact for quite some time now. He messaged me, he said he's been in Qatar he was in Qatar for like 4 years as a security. He resigned, he went back to his home country, then he came back with a freelance visa. And this guy's been here for 1 year, 9 months now, and he's still not found a job yet. He finds a job and they're like, this is how much we're going to pay you. And back then when he was here, he was like a security supervisor. So if they want to hire him now, they need to give him something bigger, right? But now they're like, okay, this is how much we're going to pay you. And he's like, come on, if this is how much you want to pay me, I would have stayed, in that, under that same contract and still be getting that some amount of money. But he just exited, came back so he can upgrade himself and get, the system going for him. But it's not the same. So I asked him, so in this case, what are you going to do? Are you still going to take that amount of money, or you would just, be playing around, because mind you, you have bills to pay, you have people back home to take care of. So situations like this, it's very hard for me to advise people like that. I told him, bro, I cannot advise you, do whatever you feel is best for you. So yeah, I mean,
basically, like just what you said, Qatar is not a bad country as it
Right.
like as we are talking about. It is just lack of jobs in some particular areas. Yeah, that is exactly what we're talking about. But apart from that, Qatar is even one of the safest countries in the world right now,
Right.
currently.
Yeah.
Right after, I can use myself basically. I can use myself as an example because before World Cup and then during the World Cup, I had some good opportunities. You know, there was so much work. I was coming across so many works before the World Cup and then during the World Cup. But then after the World Cup, these same places I was coming across jobs. There were no more jobs. There was
it's
nothing.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is how the thing started. It started right after the World Cup. So I had a conversation with one of the bosses at the Ghana embassy.
Okay.
And then he was telling me
Our Ghana embassy, right?
yeah, Ghana embassy, our embassy. And then he was telling me that before Qatar government
Right.
used to fund some of these companies in Qatar.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's
so
true.
you could see that most of the companies were hiring people outside the country, right? So yeah, because they were getting funded. But then most
Right.
of these funds went into the preparation of the World Cup.
That
So,
makes
yeah.
sense. It makes
So
sense.
right after the World Cup, there's no more funding to the companies again. So
It
now,
makes sense.
instead of getting people outside the country to
They
work,
prefer people.
they prepare people who are, so you come across so many jobs that want local that are locally hiring.
Yeah,
right?
local recruitment. Yeah,
Exactly.
sometimes, yeah.
And yeah, and then most of them, they don't have I don't think they have this capital. You know, the Qatar government used to fund some capital for them to recruit people, but they don't have. So at the end of the day, the job might be going on. They will recruit people locally. The work might be going on, all right, and then it takes time. It takes time. Like for I would say, let's say the construction site, they are given a contract which will last for like a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract. At the end of the contract is when they are going to get whatever profit that they are supposed to
I
get.
get it.
Okay, so
Right.
during the time of the contract, there is no money to pay workers. But then before, government was funding so they could pay workers.
Right. Makes sense. Makes
You
sense.
understand? So
Yeah.
now there are so many companies. Right now, most of the companies have even been closed down.
Yeah.
Most
of
companies
it.
in Qatar have been
Most
shut
of
down
them.
because
Yeah, most of them.
some are not paying their workers, some are also have expired documents and all of that. So, in fact, Qatar government was playing a very big major role in this employment kind of thing. But then I think after the World Cup, there were so many things during the World Cup, right? Qatar was like beautiful, and then we had. It was recorded in history that this was one of the best World Cup so far.
Yeah.
So, which means there were a lot of things put in place for it to become the best World Cup so far. So, right after that, there's a big loss.
I think Qatar is going to be fine.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. And I hope for those of us that will remain to see that good time, good for us. But for those of us who might not be here to experience that comeback, wherever that we might be around this world, we will still be happy that Qatar made a very big comeback. And
sure.
Yeah, we'll be grateful.
We are still here.
Yeah. So crazy. I mean, if we're going to talk about this, we would be here till Mama calls. By the way, we are here at the Qatar National Library. It's a very beautiful place. If you've seen the scenes that we've taken so far, if you love this place, it's not difficult to locate. It's you can just use the metro. Go to Sherif metro station and then join is it Green Line, right? Join the Green Line to Qatar National Library. It's a very beautiful place. I never get enough of this place. Always when I come here, I really enjoy. So yeah, it's a nice place for photos, to read, to also have some peace of mind, because you can actually hear how quiet this place is, right? So wrapping up this video, this is DJ Troy.
Yeah.
If you have anything for him to play for you, yeah, he can do that for you. So
sure. And sorry, just to add up and then close up for this video, I would like to say that actually it's not easy in anywhere, like any
Right.
part of the
Any
world.
part of the
It's
world.
never
Right.
easy. It's not easy as we are complaining here. It's the same thing probably some people are facing back in other countries or even in our own home countries
countries,
here.
yeah.
But then what I would say is that you shouldn't still give up. The thing is there are jobs, but then it's only for
some
like
specific
group of
I just
people.
don't understand it.
All I can say is that we miss the old Qatar, how
Yeah,
it
miss it
was
too.
back then, when there was jobs everywhere, when everybody was okay, and then when people were coming in and out, you know,
Yeah, it was
good,
really nice.
it was very beautiful.
Now people go out and they don't even come back.
Yeah, people are just. Qatar used to be a stepping stone. You come here, when you make it, when everything is okay. Well, you just graduate to a bigger country, or you know, yeah, that is it. So, thank you.
Yeah, so guys, thank you for being part of today's video. Kindly make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and share your comments, share this video as well. And you can leave a comment if you have any suggestion, or you feel like we said something and you're not in accordance with us, or you don't subscribe to what we've said. You can also leave your comments at the section. And stay safe, and bye bye.
Stay safe.